97.3 Citi FM. Relevant radio, always.
It might be a bit too early to say this, but Andre Ayew is certainly one of the signings of the season. How he would respond in England was one of the most anticipated in the whole world, but his response has made my guest in the studio doing his best to contain his excitement. Well, I'm also doing my best to contain my excitement. Anthony Baffoe is in the house today for the tracker, but there was no shortage of drama from the performance of Ghanaian players abroad. So we're starting from England, and it was a riveting weekend, especially for Ghanaian players. Two Ghanaian players were in action. Baba Abdulrahman returned to action, and also Andre Ayew. For Andre Ayew, he played his 2,180 minutes of action for Swansea City. That's a lot of action if you ask for a young man who has just joined a club in the English Premier League. He looked jaded. To say, Andre Ayew, the goals are not coming, especially in the last 3 games, but he looks very tired. Does he need some games off?
Well, looks very tired. That's your opinion, huh? It's not my opinion. He has played 25 games. He has been substituted a couple of times. Swansea cannot play without Andre Ayew. You see, you have periods and you have phases during a season and also during a match. But Andre Ayew is always capable of scoring a goal. And just look at Swansea's situation at the moment. Yeah. They cannot afford to let him rest. He'll bounce back. He has been, if you look at the 25 games, he has been more or less consistent. Yeah. And especially against the bigger teams, that's where you saw the quality and his performance, not only in scoring goals, but also in assisting. If you remember that pass to Gomez with the outside of his left foot, that was a masterpiece. I believe in Andre Ayew the same way I believe in most of the other Ghanaian players we are going to talk about later. I think he has had a terrific season.
Well, Andre Ayew played for his side. 90 minutes, they lost to Southampton by a solitary goal. But his brother, Jordan Ayew, watched from the stands as Aston Villa were mauled by 6 unanswered goals to Liverpool. But one player that got back to action was Baba Abdulrahman. He played for Chelsea again. It looks as if he will profit from the injury of Zuma and John Terry.
You see, him coming in already shows that Gusiding in the long run is counting on Baba Rahman. Don't forget that Baba came from the German Bundesliga, which is also one of the strongest leagues in the world. But the Premier League is a different league with a lot of pace. If I remember my former teammate Robert Pires, he needed a couple of months to establish himself also in the Premier League, and look at what a world-class player he became. I have a lot of confidence in Baba Rahman. I chat with him, I tell him to keep on training, to keep on fighting for the position. He has immense talent, and don't forget, he's really a young chap. He came in and I was very satisfied with his performance. He's a Ghanaian, so I will always back him.
So that was the 11th game for Baba Abdulrahman. It means he's improving by the week. For a man, a lot of people said he will not get game time at Chelsea. He's playing 11 games already. And the jury is that Baba will get up until 20 games before the season comes to an end. The other good news in England was that Jeffrey Schlupp was back in action. He was training for his side. Hopefully, he gets to play for Leicester in their bid to win the Premier League title.
Jeffrey Schlupp, that's how the Germans say, Hamburg boy. Born over there, you know, I look at them always very special because I was also born in Germany. And Jeffrey had a fantastic season, and I was so happy in the match against Comore Island when he came in that he performed so well. But as a player, we always have to live with injuries. But now he's fighting to come back, and hopefully, inshallah, together with Daniel Amate, we will see 2 good Ghanaian players performing with the possible champion. We don't know yet.
We'll see how that one pans out. But that was in England. So Daniel Amate is with Leicester City. Jeffrey Schlupp is with Leicester City. There's another young man called Jeffrey Dodo. He's also with Leicester City. We'll see if Leicester can make the impossible possible. Well, let's go to Spain. and there was action again. 90 minutes action for Mubarak Wakaso, played very well, but again he picked up a booking. It means he'll be out of action against Barcelona this season.
Barcelona, which is it's a pity. One of the most dedicated Ghanaian players. He's somebody who was a bit unlucky with his clubs, because he's a fantastic player who can play in the defensive role in midfield. He can play even on the wing. Very dedicated, a very, very good player. And the pair, Wakaso and Afria Aqua, was just too fantastic. 2015 doing the African Cup of Nations. He'll bounce back. He has to be sometimes a bit careful, because he had I think 10 yellow cards all in all, and it's very sad that we cannot see him against the Tiki-Taka club of Barcelona, but he'll be back, inshallah.
We'll see. So Mubarak Wakaso will sit out that game next weekend. It's very, very poor, but again, he's happy. He's playing in games week in, week out for Las Palmas, for a man who struggled for games at the beginning of the season. Bernard Mensah, we've spoken about Bernard. Finally, he had 5 minutes for Getafe against Atletico Madrid.
Yeah. This is the Spanish pronunciation, former club of Derek Boateng, young and up-and-coming player. The Spanish league, I think, suits him very, very well. He's very skillful. He's a player I really expect a lot from. But those young players, like I tell every young gentleman, they have to invest in their career. They have to go the extra mile. And I believe Bernard Mensah, if he stays focused and disciplined, we will hear good things from him in the future.
Okay, so Bernard Mensah finally played for Atletico Madrid in the Spanish La Liga. That's his first 5 minutes in 2016. We hope he did enough to ensure that he'll play in the subsequent weekend. But let's go away from Spanish La Liga to Italian. Of course, Emmanuel Ajimambedu was suspended for this weekend. Why? Because he also picked up 10 yellow cards for this season, so he couldn't play for Udinese. Another man that was not in action again is Kevin Prince Boateng. He was out of the AC Milan side this weekend, but Milan were in form. I should tell you, Ghanaian-born Italy international, of course, Mario Balotelli played in that game in Italy. Of course, Godfrey Donsa continues to play, and he played again for his club Bologna.
Godfrey is another up-and-coming talent. I think he's somebody who also needs more and more games to come really to the top. But he's a very talented player, and I'm happy that, and I'm not so worried, to tell you honestly, about the future. When it comes to midfielders, we have a lot of midfielders who are good, and Godfrey Donsa, I believe if he continues working hard, same as the other young players, the Calcio Italia, it's a very strong defensive-minded league. So already tactically, you must be very disciplined to fit in there, and I think Donsa has that.
Okay, so Donsa played for his side. We spoke about Ajimambedu being out. Another player that was out again is Afria Aqua. He's out for Torino because he's picked up a thigh problem, so he might not be playing for the foreseeable future. We are told 10 days, and so we'll see if he's able to come back next weekend. But let's leave Italy and go to Turkey. Two Ghanaian players, Samuel Inkom played 90 minutes again for Antalyaspor, and Sivasspor's defender John Boy was back in action. Boy was out of action for 21 days. He came back, and it did not look as if he was away.
Yeah, I think John Boy, after the African Cup 2015, had a revival. He worked hard to come back into the national team, and now he's doing quite well in the Turkish league. So I believe that they have a lot of confidence in him. If not, after an injury, they will rest him. But immediately he was back in the squad, and according to the Turkish media, he performed well. Same as Samuel Inkom, he's playing regularly. This is very, very important for him as a fullback. They used to call him, after the Barcelona right back, Alves. He's a guy who is, he loves the social media, Samuel Inkom, but now I think he's working very, very, very hard, and he's also doing well. So I'm happy for him.
We'll see how that one pans out for Samuel Income. He's playing football week in, week out for Turkish side Antalya. So we've got to wrap up on today's edition. Time is catching up. But one player I want us to touch on before we run out of the studio is Sule Ali Muntari, playing week in, week out, and he looks as if he's the same man that left AC Milan.
If you talk to me about Sule Ali Muntari, you always touch my heart because he remains one of my favourite players. There, I have to be biased. I tell you honestly that Sule Ali Muntari for me is he's an outstanding player. Wherever he goes, wherever he has played, he has done extremely well. I wish him well, and I hope inshallah one day we see him again wearing the colours.
We'll see Sule Ali Muntari played for his side Al Ittihad in the Saudi Arabian League. But that's how we've got to wrap up on today's edition of The Tracker. My name is Rahman Osman. Always a pleasure to come your way.